is Thor. We went to go see Thor yesterday.
Fucking sick, y'all. First of all, I can't reiterate enough how much I love the fact that they decided to make Thor the comedic relief for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. First, because it's like, yeah, you expect Guardians of the Galaxy, like people like Chris, Pratt and all of them, and like, yeah, like they are comedic entities in the industry, like as in their own, like of course, like you just know. But Thor, you know, Chris Hemsworth like wasn't.
Well, he's a sex symbol.
Yeah.
So making a sex symbol a comedic relief character
is fucking hilarious.
Kind of subversive in a way. It's very like anti-grain.
Yeah.
Because the traditional route for somebody like a Thor, which I think this is why why Thor Love and Thunder is getting criticism, is that traditionally speaking, what you want a leading man to be, especially whenever you're that attractive, is you want to be the guy that saves the world. You want him to be the guy that gets to the girl. You want him to be the guy that isn't as emotional, isn't as like frantic or sporadic. You want him to be cool. You want him to be suave. You want him to be all of these things. You want him to look good. And a lot of what they did, starting with Endgame, really, like starting with him, like, you know, going through his beer belly phase and like everything, like, they've been turning him into a comedic relief character, and people are really pushing back on it. And I think the primary reason is for the things that I just said, because that's what they want a leading man to be, and they're not giving it to them. They're making him look amazing because like his just body transformation, like this man was jacked.
Yeah. This
man was out here, right? And they made him super sensitive, like crying, talking about his emotions, talking about how much he still misses Jane, and like, you know, all these things, which not saying that that's a bad thing, as like, I'm not saying men can't do that, but traditionally speaking, leading men in movies don't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. He didn't get the girl because, spoiler alert, she dies.
Yeah.
So he doesn't get the girl. Well, dies in the sense she ends up in Valhalla, but he doesn't get the girl. He isn't smooth or suave at all. He's kind of like he's kind of like torpe. Like, he's very like almost ditzy and clumsy. He's very clumsy. Yeah. They're always breaking shit, like landing places where he's not supposed to be landing, saying the wrong thing, like being like borderline, like insensitive, like, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't check any of the marks in this movie for these things. And not only that, they emphasize it even more with the direction of genre of film that they decided to go with.
Absolutely.
Right? Like they had like all these really eccentric colors. So like traditionally speaking, as a filmmaker, right? Traditionally speaking, a film, whoever's in charge of photography, right, the director of photography, will establish a color range for the film. That's why, like, if for true consistency, they'll have like, this is the darkest black, this is the whitest white, and then this is the color palette that we're gonna stick with, so that the film seems cohesive. They did not do that at all.
They didn't,
and it's so jarring. Like the moment they get to the place where it's like the shadow realm or whatever, like, I think, and I could be wrong about this, but I think they switched to traditional film cameras. That's why the blacks and like the black and white scenes were so dynamic. Like the range of the like grays
OLED type
were so
situation,
like
real
it was
dark,
so dynamic and so visceral, right? As opposed to like all the colorful things, right? The goats were funny as fuck, and like so like they're so piercing, so like they just pierced the room every time that they were there.
They were meant to be annoying, and like they were supposed to be something that you're like, ew, like why would you want that? But then it's also like it's happening, and you're like, the goats are there. Yeah, and you're like, fuck yeah, the goats are here. You know what I mean? Like it came to a point where you're like, where are the goats? You know what I mean? Like you're like expecting them to come in and rescue or just come in and, you know, be the and they're just yelling.
I don't think this is not a traditional movie a traditional superhero movie in the slightest. Mm-hmm. And even more left than like a Deadpool, because like Deadpool is not a traditional superhero movie. Also,
well, I mean, Deadpool's an anti-hero also, anyways, but
in terms of non-traditional superhero movies, Logan is like up top with like cinematic, like greatness, like Logan and the great. Dark Knight maybe. Mm-hmm. And then like you get Deadpool as this like break the fourth wall, like that's what he's supposed to be. Like and I think Love and Thunder is like even more left than that, where like they've made some really bold choices about direction, dialogue, like what he says to Jane, what she says to him,
how he says it. Like it's the fact that like the way how he says like I want to feel shitty with you, like
like the dialogue is so it's not, like that's not even romantic.
And this is the thing though, it's like it's also so raw, because at the end of the day, like I was watching what's her name? Tessa's Hot One interview, and she was talking about how she enjoyed like YTT's sense of direction because of the fact that she was like somewhere along the lines she said of I enjoyed how there is this comedic relief in the movie, but he makes the messages that he's sending with the actual movie so impactful, even when it is supposed to be a comedic relief moment, even when it is supposed to be a funny moment, even when it's supposed to be something that doesn't make any sense. But like as you look at it again from like a different lens, or even as you think about it again as we're thinking about it now, like at the moment when he said I want to feel shitty with you, I just laughed. I was all like, oh, it's funny. Like
there were so many moments I laughed. I'm like, yo, what the fuck,
bro? Like I don't laugh like that out loud in movies, out in the public. We just don't do that. But like I did, and it was really funny. But like to me, that particular scene was funny to me at the moment, because in my mind I was thinking, I was like, well, she doesn't know what you're talking about, dumbass, like because she wasn't the one who told you that information. But then as I'm looking at it now, I'm like, it was his attempt at just conveying the raw emotion of when you are in love with someone, it's not always just about love. It's always more than that. There is that sense of like, you will feel shitty with the person that you love a lot, actually, because that's the whole point. You know what I mean? Though you can't feel the love if you don't feel the shittiness sometimes that comes with it. Like they're two hand in hand.
What were your favorite moments about it?
Like the movie?
Like what were your favorite things about the movie?
So my favorite was definitely my favorite one was that I want to feel shitty with you.
Okay.
I really, really like the fact that they have Zeus be a total dickhead, like the way he's supposed to be, because Zeus is a dickhead in general, and like the mythology.
In Greek mythology? All the gods are shitty.
All the gods are shitty. Yeah. And I like appreciate the fact that they weren't trying to sugarcoat it and be like, Zeus, the almighty god, like how Jane was looking at it. She was like, the Zeus, and he was like, yeah, the Zeus, and he was like, never meet your heroes, right? Because of that. And then also I really enjoyed, if I want to pick three things, I really, really enjoyed when they tie it in Love and Thunder at the end, at the name, stepdaughter? Because of the fact that she was like, choose. He said to Jane, and he said to Gore, I choose love. So I won't.
And she came back I want
to spend the rest of my time with the person that's dying in front of me, the love of my life. Right now, I don't care what you do. You can get rid of the gods all you want. You can bring back your daughter. You can do whatever you want. But I'm not going to spend any more time with you. Like I can't do that. So when he brought his daughter back out of love, and he named her Love, and it was like Love and Thunder. Like I love when they do that, and they not bookend it, but when they make it connect.
I really appreciate that's one of the things that you like, because that's one of the things that I critique about the movie, is that some of the most poignant, most impactful, meaningful things about the movie can be easily missed because they're not highlighted through the traditional ways of spotlighting themes in films, right? Like that fact that you just said about like how he's bringing back for love or this and that, like if it was a traditional superhero movie, they would have highlighted that part.
Yeah, they really would.
They would have made it to where there was such a meaningful symphonic like elevation. It was like you would have realized choice. It was just like a simple like nonchalant, even like the shots that they
super
chose.
Minuscule choice, and it was the fact that he said it in a passing way. It was the fact that the entire premise of the movie before he said all of this, he was being very hesitant of love. Like that's exactly what he was talking about. And like he was saying at one point or another how he wanted to feel love but was afraid and blah blah, like whatever. And it ties into this really real feeling that a lot of people feel once they start looking at themselves introspectively and being like, oh shit, like I am afraid of whatever. But at the end of the day, it was just the fact that he literally was like, I choose love, I want to be here. And he was there and whatever. And whenever he says take care of her, when Gore says like please take care of her, I trust you to take care of her, he didn't at one point or another be like, no, fuck you, dude, like you just did all this extra shit for no reason. It was his understanding of the fact that it was like you were doing this for love in your own weird twisted way, as I've been doing all the shit that I've been doing for love in my own weird and twisted way. You know what I mean? Like, and there's no right way to express or to feel the love that you're feeling when that person is either gone or leaving. You know what I mean? Because they were both in a moment where he thought Jane was gone just because of the fact that he wasn't with Jane. And then he actually came to that realization of like, no, wait, Jane is actually going to be gone. Like I won't ever get to be with her again. And him, Gore, being like, she's gone because she died, and then bringing her back and being like, well, I still sealed my faith. I'm going to be gone now. Mm-hmm. So she's alone now. There's nothing left here. You're alone now. She's like, that girl, Jane is gone. What's left? Love and thunder. You know what I mean? So then to me, when I was watching, when I first saw the title of Thor Love and Thunder, I genuinely was just like, it's because She-Thor is there, so it's going to be about love. And then it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was about love and thunder. And the fact that he found this new way of like, I'm going to be a dad. I'm going to make her pan flaps. or like whatever he called them, pancakes. He called them pan flaps, human flaps or whatever. And he was like, this is it. And he's like, the fact that he gave the big ass axe to the little girl, and he got the little one on his own because he was all like, I really want this. And he was always just been very much about it. And it was very much in his mind. It was like, this is just how it's going to be. Like this dynamic of like, we're going to be doing our things. It was just like really nice.
My favorite things about the movie was the artistic direction. I really enjoyed the juxtaposition of a lot of the like thematically and photography wise. My second favorite thing was the fact that they made him a very bad hero, a clumsy hero. I enjoyed that. And then my third favorite thing is that Christian Bale killed it.
Oh, he was so good.
That was my third favorite thing. Like that was very obvious that like he did a great job being that villain. Mm-hmm. In the comics, their rivalry stretches out a lot more. So I'm a little bummed out that he only gets one movie to be Gore or whatever. But I understand because there's like a bigger
there's a
bigger storyline at play here, right? But I think he did a great job. I think Christian Bale did a great job. Now I also have 3 critiques. One, I think, like I said, because of the way that they shot it, and it was so non-traditional, I think some of the most impactful and meaningful things can be easily missed for like the naked eye, the casual viewer.
Yeah.
And people might be like, what? Like, I don't like it. Mm-hmm. I can totally see that happening. So part of me is like, oh man, you could have given like a more middle ground instead of like this and that, but totally respect the decision. The second critique that I have is the actual screenwriting, the like dialogue. Some of it I thought was just a tiny bit like surface level, cookie cutter. but I get it. There's a lot of characters. They're trying to move from one place to another really quickly. And the thing that we're also not thinking about is that COVID did affect the production of this movie.
Yeah.
So like there might have been things that they had to compromise and like cut some corners in, quote unquote, to try to get it done, you know?
Yeah.
And then the third critique that I have overall is that I wish Natalie Portman got to play Thor some more.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. That would have been cool to watch. But everything else, all those other little like nuances, I enjoyed. I enjoyed Valkyrie. I thought she was cool. I enjoyed the rock guy. I thought it was cool. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed Russell Crowe being Zeus.
You know what else I want to mention?
I really enjoyed Matt Damon.
That was
Matt Damon being like
Loki.
musical theater Loki was so funny. That was great.
I really want to point out two things that I just think are really awesome for, and I think it's a thing with Waititi in particular, with the representation of not only like the races and just like being like very inclusive in that sense, but he also made it a point, one, to talk about how Valkyrie, how she's lesbian and she's all about that, and we love it, and then how the little rocks they mate with men. It's just men, and they hold hands for a month, and then they have a lava baby coming out, and it's just like, that's the fucking cutest thing in the world. And he literally talks about how it's like the little rock dude meets another rock with a mustache, and they're holding hands, and it's just like very cute how like they talk about just the things like that, and how he like makes it so like he's like, yes, these rock creatures are all men, and they all have babies, and they only have men, but they're all gay. You know what I mean? Like he completely breaks that traditional, like, it's like, for instance, the Valkyries are all women, right? Yeah. And thus some of the most powerful like soldiers are women, and you're like, cool, that's badass. And then you look at the really powerful rock dude, and you're like, this dude's cool, very manly looking rock, right? And then they're like, yeah, and they're all gay, and it's just fucking perfect. Like it doesn't matter. Like the fact that they're gay doesn't negate a single bit of what you thought about that strong man and about the strongness that you can convey from this rock creature. The fact that he's gay is just a little bit of information in there, because it doesn't matter. Yeah. And they got babies. Yeah. And they mate. And it's like so fucking cute. I just really thought that was actually something very clever on his behalf to do. Yeah. And I just thought it was
the
really
writing
nice.
was good.
I like that.
Yeah, the writing was good.
The weird subtle representation of these things. It was like very interesting.
I enjoyed the kids being part of it too.
I like the fact that they're actually their kids.
Yeah.
I thought that was fucking hilarious.
Overall, I thought it was a good movie. I don't think it's the best Thor movie though.
I think
Ragnarok.
You still like Ragnarok? I mean, I like the fact that they were both directed by Waititi. So I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know any of that.
I think Ragnarok still ranks as my first.
Ragnarok is fucking hilarious. Yeah.
And then the second one, I think, is still the first one.
I haven't watched any of them except for Ragnarok and this one.
Well, maybe, I don't know. I'd have to go back and see the first.
Because I thought if I'm not mistaken, everybody says that they're
Dark World is definitely not the one.
I heard that the previous Thor movies were so like boring.
No, the first Thor's alright because the first Thor is like watching the first Iron Man.
Yeah, it's just like introduction.
It's just establishing the character in a way, like in some weird way or whatever, right? Like, so like when you go back and watch the first Iron Man, like, you don't walk away from that movie being like, man, this fucking superhero movie was amazing. Yeah. Like, you just like, all right, like, so they introduced Iron Man. You know what I mean? Yeah. And kind of like how Iron Man 3 is not necessarily like the best Iron Man movie either. Yeah. It's just like, well, I think a lot of these, like, he just has anxiety the entire time.
A lot of these movies are very, I feel like every movie that doesn't involve all of the canon people are just information fillers.
That's a good point that I just realized right now. Iron Man 3 is essentially Thor Love and Thunder, but for Iron Man, because he's going through like a very non-conventional superhero things. Like he's a regular guy, he has anxiety, he's having panic attacks, he doesn't get the girl, like you know what I mean? Or not that he doesn't go, he like Pepper's already there, but like he keeps failing like nonstop. The only difference is that at the end of Iron Man 3, you get that full superhero explosion of him like overcoming the thing. You know what I mean? So then it's like, all right, like we got our satisfaction. We got our gratification as a viewer. Like, yes, you gave me the like coming of age, not coming of age. You gave me the like, I superseded. Mm-hmm. You gave me the David and Goliath story. You gave me the the release that I needed. This man is who we were supposed to be rooting for.
Yeah.
In this Thor, it's like, holy shit, like like you're not giving me the traditional like sounds that I want to listen to in order to get to this climax. You're not giving me the characters. You're not giving me this like big power play.
Yeah.
You're not giving me this. You just never give it to me.
Yeah.
So in it, I think are its strengths and its weaknesses at the same time. Like I totally understand how people are not liking it.
Yeah.
How like critics might not like it and how people might be like, yo, this is garbage.
And I saw people walk out.
Yeah.
But I actually like noticed people were leaving and they just never came back because they were probably like, this isn't what I wanted to see.
Yeah. That's the point I'm making. Yeah. Is that like, it's very easy that like, this is not a superhero movie.
Yeah.
I'm not getting the traditional superhero movie things. Yeah. But as a lover of film and photography and this and that, I'm like, yo, this is kind of fire. Like especially as a lover of art that deals with the absurd.
Yes.
I'm absolutely. Like, this is fire.
Like to me, it was very much like I've come to this understanding that if I'm gonna watch things like Deadpool, if I'm gonna watch Thor, if I'm gonna watch Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm not there to go watch like this superhero montage of like really good decisions or maybe one bad decision and then it leads you into. I'm not there to watch Spider-Man. Like that's not what I'm there for. Like if I'm gonna go and watch Spider-Man, it's because I'm about to watch something that's about to blow my mind. It's something that's gonna make totally fucking sense. It's gonna be a huge character development for Peter, and it's gonna be this whole revolutionizing thing of like this is happening. You know what I mean? Not a single one of the Spider-Man movies hasn't come to that conclusion when I watch them, because that's exactly what it is. He is the hero trope, and he is that. Yes, there is comedic relief in there every once in a while because it's Spider-Man, but it was never like this is what I'm looking for. You know what I mean? So when I look and watch Thor, it's just about the shits and giggles, and about the fact that like he's still like that character, that particular version of Thor is in all of the end games now. Like it's in all of the canon stuff, and he is just a fucking idiot, like an idiot that knows but doesn't know.
He's a spoiled son.
Yeah, like he knows and doesn't know, and it's just like, and it's great. Like I think it's so raw and realistic of the fact that it's like not all superheroes are gonna be these cookie cutters, and not all superheroes are gonna be all that like densely compacted with nuances that are like deep and like uber meaningful, like for instance like Captain America going through the war and stuff like that, and you're because that's the other manly man in the, you know what I mean, being like or like freaking rest in peace Chad, like
Boswick,
Boswick, like him being like the Black Panther, and then like the rite of passage to becoming a king.
I think
all
he
of
should
these
get recasted.
things.
No lie.
You think recasted?
I think he should get recasted. I now landed on the idea that I think he should get recasted. That I really do. I do because
maybe like an older version or something.
No, I think he should get. I think he should just be. They should just like rip the Band-Aid off and then just like put somebody else that looks great as a Black Panther and make him the Black Panther. Like
I don't know. I think the idea of doing that is gonna lead. I think there's
like,
two
I understand the legacy of Chadwick Boseman, and I understand and I understand the impact that he had. He absolutely killed it. He is the Black Panther. Yeah. But also in terms of storyline, like I heard that they introduced Namor, that they're about to start like thinking about Namor or whatever in the city of Atlantis, and like all the mythology that comes with it. And the rivalry between Black Panther and Namor is like super strong, especially at the beginning. So if you're gonna have Shuri be Black Panther and then she's gonna fight Namor, like it just doesn't have it's not canon.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not traditional Marvel canon. And if you like those kind of like that part of the comics, you're really looking forward to Black Panther and Namor going against each other, only to end up being friends and fighting side by side later on. In other like Avenger types.
That's true.
Movies. So I really just think that they should. I think that they should recast them, and I don't really care if like they say like our Black Panther died, and this person gets the herb now or whatever, or if they're just like T'Challa, and then and it's just another guy. Like I think you know what I mean. I think I'm perfectly okay with that. I think
it depends on whether or not you want it to be about the performance or whether or not you want it to be about canon. Because I feel like if you're choosing the performance wise, I think it'll be very hard as a director, producer, or even just a creator of the new movie to be like, how am I going to get somebody who's going to be good as Black Panther without them always having to associate them back to Chad necessarily, in terms of their performance and being like,
shit, but they could pull it off. I mean,
not that it's not possible, but I do feel like that's not the kind of critique you want to have from the movie. You want the critique to be about the movie, not about was the new Black Panther's performance of Black Panther as good as Chadwick's or not? Here, let me tell you why.
But that's gonna happen anyway. Like even when Shuri does it, I suppose so, that's gonna happen anyway. So I'm not saying this is the best course of action, but they could have figured out a way to make Killmonger Black Panther.
That's true.
They could have figured, you know what I mean? And Michael B. Jordan is loved by everybody. So like, it's not like they were gonna lose any kind of like ratings, things like that. Or they could just get somebody else to that really strong, good looking, fit black guy to play Black Panther and just make sure that it's a good movie. Like the moment that it comes out and the movie's enjoyable, people will settle down.
Yeah.
There's always going to be the comparison, but people will be fine.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
We'll see how that goes.
So that's what I tend to think about the recasting of Black Panther. But who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Because Wakanda Forever is coming out in a month or two. So we're going to see how it is. Like it's already in post production. So it's coming out.
And they just haven't said nothing?
No, they said it.
Release date November 11th.
Yeah. So that's what, like 3 months from now?
No, but like they just haven't said who. They just don't talk about.
Well, it was originally Black Panther 2, and they changed it to Wakanda Forever. It doesn't even have Black Panther in it.
I was about to say, I was like
the
where's
name Black Panther doesn't even in it. It's just called Wakanda Forever. So my guess is that this movie, if they're smart, this movie's gonna be a movie about something that's happening in Wakanda, where they either introduce the next Black Panther, or they lead you to the moments that makes Shuri the Black Panther. Either way, I think this is what this movie is before you get an actual like new Black Panther person. You know what I mean?
Oh. I like that the only white person there is this British like guy. It's like, and I love how they always make it known.
It's the Hobbit, man.
Yeah, and I love how he always makes it known in the movie. It's just like, I'm white, I don't know. Like in the middle of all these like people from Wakanda, and I think it's just really interesting. Yeah.
Anyway, like I said, guys, thank you guys, everybody out there that's watched to some degree. Thank you so much for the support. It's been 6 months of us filming, a year since the inception of the idea of what this was going to turn into. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you guys continue watching for whatever this also turns itself into, and the evolutions and the ideas that we have for you guys. We are really excited. At the end of this month, we are planning something a little different for an episode, and then we've got some potential plans for some introduction for some things around the city. So stay in touch. Keep in touch. We'll do everything that we can to shoot all this content out to you guys. And thank you all in advance. Until next time. And stay cool, because this fucking heat is stupid. Also, before actually the last bit of information, gas went down 19 cents in the past 2 weeks. So we're going to get very close to Republicans not having anything to fucking whine about. So who knows what they're going to whine about this time. So anyway, peace.
Bye.